Okay, so now we know how, we understand or we have a bit idea of how the process goes round. So MTN needed to put down all these structures led by then CEO John Beck, and there's Lena Jetley and another South African guy called Kutuma. So they built towers, they built everything, both the urban areas and also some rural areas. Of course, you can't build structures across South Africa at a go. This is very capital intensive. So they started from somewhere. So in 1994, June, MTN started operation. Now, by December 1994, they realized significant improvement. Out of that, they needed money to invest in the business. So they decided to come on the stock market to raise funds to invest in long-term goals. So in 1995, MCell was listed on South African Stock Exchange, that's JSE. It was a very successful one. So we were able to raise some money to invest in long-term goals. That's how every business when you're a private business, probably you're getting funding from yourself or your team and maybe venture. At a point in time, you can come on the stock market to raise significant amount of money, and then you invest in your long-term goal to scale up the business. That's how it works. Okay, so let's continue. Now, in 1996, the telco business, this is how they raise revenue. They will give you services, and then at the end of the month, you pay by using your credit card or your bank account. Now, because MTN has been tasked to invest both in urban areas and rural areas, they realize that it is not everyone having a bank account or credit card. So they introduce what we call prepaid. It means you're going to pay for it before you use our service. 1996, MTN introduced what we call innovation or turning point for MTN. Right? Now, the pay as you go, that's why they introduce the airtime card. So you can just buy airtime with just $1, $5, then you top up, you start making calls. Then people were able to afford than probably you use landline, so and then you make payment at the end of the month. But many people are able to afford $1, $2, $5, $10, right? So it was a good business strategy for MTN. And then in the same year, they also introduced SMS. So SMS, you can just send short message to whoever you want to send a message to, and it was also working. It became another revenue stream or a revenue point for MTN. Yeah, after making money from voice, like making calls, you can also text, and it was also another revenue point for MTN. Now MTN realized that, okay, if we are able to make this happen in South Africa, I mean, this strategy is going to work in all African countries. So they plan on having their first international license. They went to Uganda first. And of course, they were able to have their first license, started operating in Uganda. Same strategy, you build structures, and then you call people in, they start using your services. They went to Rwanda, they went to Swaziland, today Eswatini, and then the Cameroon. It was working perfectly for MTN. Now MTN is picking up on momentum as one of the best telecommunication a platform in Africa. Now, here in Africa, if a multinational company, you want to operate in Africa, I don't think you can do it without having market in Nigeria. So MTN decided to enter Nigeria market. Okay, now when MTN go to Nigeria, they apply for GSM licenses. This was the time of former President Olusegun Obasanjo. This is back in 2000. No, it was 1999-2000. Then the conversation had gone on, but in Nigeria, but there was a corruption scandal, Nigeria. So the government paused on that. Then when MTN came, they came with what? A record. Sure, look at our data. We are operating in South Africa. We are operating in Uganda, Cameroon, Rwanda. So we can also make it in Nigeria as well. And then other people were also applying for, other businesses were also applying for the GSM license. So what the Nigeria government does was, it was very strategic. They issue auction. Whoever is able to, go by the price, you buy it, and then you start business. Of course, 5 competitors. Then later, it was awarded to MCell and as MTN and Airtel, I think. Now, so in Nigeria, you also need to put down the same investment structure. And according to data out there, the license was given to MTN for $285 million. People were even complaining that this is bad investment. But then MTN knew that Nigeria market is going to be massive, because we are talking about 250 million population. Right, the biggest population in Africa. So they start putting down structures, then they start operating in Nigeria. Now, when we're talking about MTN revenue stream from different countries, Nigeria is Nigeria is at the top. Okay? So it tells you that it was a good investment. Of course, those days, $258 million wasn't a joke for Nigerian government, right? MTN bought it, and then they started operating in Nigeria. Now, after Nigeria, the next country will be, so you go to the fatherland, then the next country is going to be Ghana, the motherland. So now, on our next episode, I'll be taking you through how MTN was able to penetrate through Ghana telecommunication market. Thank you.